Once again, we want to welcome you into the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant classic. I know at least one person in this world, in this mighty, mighty world, says it with me. It's probably that one person that don't even watch the show, and he just be like, and always. I know it. It's got to be, right? That's how it works. I think that's how it works. Episode 3, baby. We did. I think we did the hat trick at this point. We did the hat trick. We got to episode 3, so that's great. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button for us, please. I hope this video is actually live because sometimes we don't do videos live, and I got a feeling Casey didn't said it's live. But anyway,
I did actually. I did.
Okay, he did. But be sure, before we get started, I'm trying to give you time. I'm trying to give you a little time. I want you to hit that subscribe button for us. I want you to share the video. I want you to like the video. And I want you to comment and be like, I am here, dang on it. You better acknowledge my presence. And I obviously be like, what's up, man? Stranger? Anyway, we're going to move into the show. Shut up, Casey. We're going to move into the show. Starting with the news and rumors. There was I don't know if this was really like a hectic week. I know it was kind of a weird week for like GFW, but I feel like that's every week for GFW. Whatever we're calling it at this point, because like I feel like it's always something going on. It seems like. I actually got some news from the King of the Mountain podcast. That's usually where I get my TNA news from. Your number one source for Impact, TNA, and GFW news. I feel like, because that's where I always end up getting mine from. They're always like number one and on it. Plus, it kind of shows up in my Twitter timelines and in my Facebook timelines and stuff. So I always feel like they are the number one at it. So shout out to them for keeping the news coming out. But we're starting with Low Ki leaving GFW. There's also another departure that I can't think of right off the top of my head for some reason of what it was. I know one was Low Ki, and I think that was more of a rumor. The other one was more so confirmed. So as soon as I get that for you, I will let you guys know what that is as soon as my computer decides to actually work with me. Casey, if you could you check on their Twitter, or you can check on our Twitter because I retweeted it. I retweeted both of them. So if you can check that and figure that out for me, that would be great. It definitely sucks that Low Ki's leaving. He just came back. And it seems like whatever the signing and unsigning woes that Impact has, they just can't get rid of him yet. So I guess we'll see. Next, we got Asuka suffering a collarbone injury where she actually suffered a broken collarbone in the match with Ember Moon. So hashtag Ember Moon hurt her at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Now we all know how wrestling fans are. Certain people would have been like, Ember Moon hurt her if it wasn't like Ember Moon. If it would have been like Alexa Bliss, or it would have been like, somebody who wasn't from the Indies, hypothetically speaking, we would have been like, yeah, she hurt her. But anyway, it's definitely unfortunate. She actually relinquished the title, which I thought was not the best move in my opinion. I did not like that move at all. I felt like they could have worked around it, because I feel like, in my opinion, yes, it makes Asuka look strong that the only thing that could take the title away from her was an injury, but it was only a 6 to 8 week injury from what the report said. So I'm not sure if it may have been worse than what we originally thought, but it was only a 6 to 8 week injury. So that was kind of my issue with it. And two, I felt like with Asuka, her title run has been so good that I feel like the person that beats her, it's going to immediately elevate them as being a, women's main event contender. So, like, I mean, obviously they'd be the champion, but still, I still feel like it would help them so much. But, whatever. She's probably going to get moved to the main roster is what I'm expecting. Casey, did you get a chance to check that for me, or did you just not listen to anything I just said?
I don't see anything about any other people on.
Okay, I'll look it up when you give your thoughts on it.
Oh wait, maybe
I could have sworn it was the second one, but anyway, WWE discussing with Rusev and Lana for their potential release. It seems almost academic at this point, almost that it's a thing that's already happened at this point from what I've been hearing all week. I love Rusev, and this actual news portion is actually going to filter into the Overreaction Friday here coming up here in a little bit. But I just feel like it's unfortunate because I love Rusev, and I don't think Rusev should ever leave, ever. And the last one we have is a little bit of sad news. Condolences and prayers and everything to Dana Brooke. Her boyfriend died earlier this week at the age of 26. The report was that he choked on his food, and it honestly just makes you think of how quick life can go away, how quick life can be taken from you. Just something as simple as choking on his food was something that took him. So definitely sending, from the podcast, especially sending our condolences to him and her and their families and everything, because that's definitely something that's going to affect her for not only now but for the rest of her life. So definitely sad way to end the news and rumors section, but we do want to send our support to Dana Brooke. Casey, thoughts on the news and rumors section?
Yeah, starting off with Asuka. I mean, anytime.
Of course, you start off with Asuka.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously sucks. Anytime that's one thing we never want to see is somebody actually getting injured. So that it does suck, but I think not even just her having to relinquish the title, but I'm looking also on the bright side. This I think they said they're doing some sort of tournament to decide the new, women's champion in NXT.
Mae Young Classic?
I don't know. But either way.
The perfect time to do it? Well, never mind. I forgot. They already.
Yeah, and not all of them.
I hate them so much. They're so.
Yeah, but we always say we like tournaments and things like that. So this this brings something that the opportunity for that, and it gives somebody else a chance to run with the title. Obviously, I'm sure when she comes back, she'll maybe get one more run, unless they just bring her right up to the main roster. Which I've heard rumors that they were wanting to bring her up to the roster or the main roster soon. But that sucks, obviously. WWE in negotiations with Rusev and Lana, I heard, on both of their releases. They both requested their releases. I think this is good. Rusev is a really, talented. They're not using him right. I think, obviously after, I think it's a 90-day no compete clause in WWE contracts. But anyway, after that, I could see him going to TNA, Ring of Honor, any promotion really, and being used a lot better. So that, that's good. Again, condolences to Dana Brooke, to her boyfriend Dallas McCarver's family, all of them. If you've watched the podcast in the past, I'm not a huge fan of Dana Brooke, but my condolences to her. It's crazy how quickly you just choke on something, or life is so kind of fragile, I guess. So that's sad. And then finally, Low Ki leaving GFW. I'm not surprised. I don't know exactly his reasoning for leaving. I would imagine partially probably has to do with Jim Cornette, because I don't think he ever got along with him.
I don't think Jim Cornette actually likes him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So I'm wondering, what he'll do. Maybe WWE will give him another chance. Probably not.
Oh!
But yeah. So moving on to the top 5 botches / funny moments. of the week. They so funny. They so botchy. First one we got was John Cena correcting The Miz when The Miz said the Barclays Center incorrectly. I thought that was pretty funny. I think anytime you have Cena and The Miz, they always have good, back and forth banter, and they're always funny together.
Real quick, Casey, before we get too much into this, it was Tyrus.
Oh, yeah. Well, did he leave, or he was just not? I think he was protesting and just not showing up to the tapings.
I actually heard that low key. I think low key was the reportedly was gone. Tyrus was supposed to be like a definite, more of a definite.
I think that's flipped. Because
I could be wrong.
Yeah, you probably wrong. Then back to the botches / the funny moments. And some of these DJ not gonna get because he ain't watched everything yet. But Samoa Joe's punches on John Cena looked really weak to me. So that was a little bit of a funny moment / botch. Obviously, probably because Vince wants to keep John as safe as possible in his little protective bubble. It just looks bad. Then we have Big Cass really injuring his knee in his match against Enzo Amore, which kind of sucks, especially since they were really starting to push him to get injured that quickly. It's just unfortunate. Gentleman Jack Gallagher beating up Sprinkles the Clown, who Brian Kendrick sent out instead of him. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we have the Fashion Police and Alexa Bliss had their Domino's commercial, which I do thoroughly enjoy. DJ, thoughts on the botches and funny moments of the week?
Yeah, I know about a lot of these. I'm gonna be honest. I really did. Like I was when I told you earlier this week that I was gonna watch everything. Dang on it. I meant it. I did. I was like, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. And I got really busy and it didn't happen. It's not my fault. But anyway, I'm gonna give my thoughts on these as best as I can. Anytime John Cena and The Miz are in the same ring together, you can expect something funny to happen. The Miz, I think Justin actually quoted this as being The Miz's pipe bomb. So I definitely want to go back and watch this because that was one of the things I didn't get to watch. Was The Miz's quote pipe bomb, according to Justin.
What?
That's what he said. Samoa Joe's weak punches. Anything that looks weak in wrestling makes wrestling look bad. I have a friend who is highly against wrestling, says it's illogical, and it makes no sense. So weak punches would not help me sway anyone to watching wrestling. As far as the Big Cass injury, I didn't see the actual botch that forced the injury. I just know I remember seeing Carmella send out a tweet about Big Cass is having a successful surgery and everything. So I don't know, and I'm assuming it's got to be relatively serious if he had to have surgery on it. So that's unfortunate. Like you said, I mean, Big Cass was kind of entering his big push, it felt like. So the Fashion Police and Alexa Bliss, definitely something I want to watch, but I'm going to add in my own. Dang on it. I'm going to add in my own since I actually saw this commercial. The new Colonel commercial for KFC that WWE ran during SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken. That I like that one better, personally. But I haven't seen the other one. But I like it better. I'm going with it. I'm sticking to my story. And Jack Gallagher beating up Sprinkles was pretty funny. Sprinkles was pretty funny with himself. So, yeah, I definitely liked it. Good, funny week.
Indeed it was. And moving on to the Top 5 instant classic moments of the week. We got Braun Strowman destroying Brock Lesnar not only on SummerSlam, but on Raw after SummerSlam too. That was so good. Then we have Chad Gable potentially getting a new tag team partner in the returning Shelton Benjamin. Bobby Roode debuting on SmackDown Live, interrupting Aiden English. And then one thing I didn't like about that was half of the match was muted on commercial, like they do on SmackDown. Sometimes they'll keep the match going and like have it in the corner, which I thought was a bad idea. Then we have Eli Drake as the new GFW champion. So that's pretty cool. And then Enzo's debut on 205 Live. DJ.
Yeah, as far as Strowman destroying Lesnar, Strowman has been booked so well and so strong, especially over these past little bit. Basically, since he was put in the feud with Roman, if we're going to be honest, because I think the thing that we forget, and yes, I'm a huge Roman fan, so sorry and apologies to anyone who isn't. Actually, I'm not that sorry at all, to be honest. But Strowman's feud with Roman has helped him so much because, yes, you can go and destroy Jowers all you want to. You can go and destroy James Ellsworth all you want to. But until you start destroying guys like Lesnar, guys like Reigns, and Reigns sells getting beat up better than a lot of people right now. So, like, I think because he's been booked so strong, he's able to do this, and you're able to be like, you know what? Yeah, that's about right. Because, I mean, you kind of just get used to Strowman destroying people at this point. Gable's new partner, like I said, I didn't watch SmackDown Live yet, but I've seen bits and pieces of SmackDown Live. I just haven't watched the whole show. I think Casey sent me a snap of Shelton Benjamin and Gable kind of being together. Not sure how this played out exactly, but I definitely think it would be interesting. But I don't know if I'd rather see Gable in a new tag team or Gable by himself, to be honest. But Bobby Roode SmackDown debut, I was definitely excited. I think we both were kind of confused about his NXT return, but I think as far as his SmackDown Live debut, I think we're all excited to see what they're going to do with him and how he gets booked. Then I'm gonna switch these and I'm gonna do Enzo's debut on 205 Live. I definitely think this could revitalize his career. And it could be something that really helps him as far as a singles guy, just because like the crowd at first didn't seem like I said on the 205 Live review, the crowd at first didn't seem like they were super into it, but then when he really started to do his promo and he really started to get under Neville's skin, they started to like it and they started to really get excited for it. So I think it could really help him, and it may be the SmackDown crowd that might help him out a little bit more, or that after SmackDown, that post SmackDown crowd, I guess. And then finally, Eli Drake is the new global champion. I'm excited. I loved him when he was the King of the Mountain champion. He did such a good job with that. Like I said on the Impact review last night, which is on the channel as well. I feel like he should have been grand champion. So this is obviously long overdue. Although Rabbit doesn't feel like he's world championship material, which is weird now that he has it. I've never heard Rabbit say that, but now that he has it, he said that. So I don't know. I definitely have always thought Eli Drake was championship material, and
I think anyone who isn't Bobby Lashley, he said, in championship material.
You know what I was curious about, because I was thinking if Low-Ki wins this match, would he say that Low-Ki is world championship material? Because I feel like Rabbit is very strict on like divisions. I don't know if you agree with me on that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, because you'll hear him talk about how, like, for example, like Matt Sydal shouldn't beat Lashley just because he's an X Division guy. Not necessarily because he's a good wrestler, and not necessarily because Lashley's just bigger.
Yeah.
The main argument was he was an X Division guy. But anyway, I'm definitely excited for Eli Drake's title run more than anything.
That's what confuses me with him, because I don't know if he remembers, but X Division isn't about weight limits. It's about no limits. Samoa Joe was in the X Division, and
he a big boy.
Yeah, he a big fella. Just so. But anyway, you got the overreact. You got the next segment, bro.
All right. Next segment is Overreaction Friday. For some reason, I don't know why it's one of my favorite segments. I don't know why. I just kind of like it. So let's get into these overreactions or not overreactions. And when I say it and I say overreaction or not overreaction, I need a comment immediately in my inbox, in my DMs, in my Twitter feed, in my Facebook DM box inbox thing. I need you to let me know.
He just wants people to slide in his DMs. That's it. That's all he wants.
He right. Anyway, my first one is the Mae Young Classic will be absolutely terrible. Horrible. The worst thing ever. I think this is an overreaction, extreme overreaction, hyperbolic overreaction, because I think the Mae Young Classic is going to be really good. If we've seen anything presented on just the WWE Network that has been wrestling related and has been a tournament, besides probably King of the Ring, and over the past year and a half, we know it's going to be good. If they put let's be honest, Casey, if they put a bracketology about it, if they put a bracketology out about it, it's probably going to be pretty good. So I'm expecting this to be pretty good. I think, and I think I stole this from Amy actually, just because I think Amy not that she thinks it's going to be terrible, but I think she doesn't have a lot of hope with WWE and women's wrestling at times. So I just kind of made this one up from kind of Amy's perspective, I feel like. But Casey, the Mae Young Classic will be absolutely terrible. Overreaction or not an overreaction?
The Classic itself is an overreaction. I think it's going to be really good. Obviously, WWE's brought in some of the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. So I think the Classic itself, the tournament itself, is going to be awesome. Where I think it's going, and I think this is kind of what Amy's thinking too a little bit. Where I think it might fall through, or where it might kind of suck, is the aftermath. How do they? If there's
will there even be an aftermath? Because I think this is one of those tournaments with the Cruiserweight Classic. We knew the aftermath was the Cruiserweight division. With the UK tournament, we knew that the UK was getting some sort of show. They said weekly show a long time ago. I'm just saying. But anyway,
that's one of the only kind of downsides. They didn't say if what's the tournament for. They haven't promoted a belt or a trophy or anything like that. But I think the tournament itself is going to be great. So I think that's an overreaction.
All right, moving on to our next Overreaction Friday topic, I guess. And this is coming, I guess, stemming off of SummerSlam versus NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, or just NXT versus main roster in general. Main roster pay-per-views are nowhere near NXT specials. I'm actually going to go that this is an overreaction. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, the NXT takeovers are the greatest and they're the best. They are. Don't you dare get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not better. I just feel like the main roster is closer than it seems. I think a lot of people downplay the main roster simply because it's a different style of wrestling. It's catered to a different fan base. And that's why a lot of hardcore fans love NXT TakeOver. Now, I feel like this is an overreaction because I think the main roster pay-per-views are solid. And I feel like they're always really good. I wouldn't say that they're nowhere near. It's not like they're putting NBA Live out there with NBA 2K that's nowhere that with NBA Live being nowhere near. It's not like that. So this is an overreaction in my opinion. Casey, I feel like we might finally disagree on something. Casey.
This is not an overreaction. This is absolutely true. And I think to an extent, yeah, it is a different, it's catered to a different fan base, but the matches are better in takeovers. The outcomes are more consistent and make sense on takeovers. How many, even on SummerSlam, there were some matches that the outcomes we were like, wait, what? What? Some of the stipulations didn't make any sense, like Enzo in a shark cage. Why? He's a face. Faces don't go in shark cages. That's for a heel. Just the takeover shows are phenomenal. I don't think there's been one takeover show that we've watched so far that we didn't think was great. There have been a few matches in there that were okay and weren't the greatest, but all in all, the shows are solid. So I'm going to say this is not an overreaction.
All right. See, I like when we disagree some. Next, we got. I'm gonna switch these on my notes, which not that I don't know why I say that because it's not like anyone can like read my notes. So anyway, shut up. WWE is wasting their top talents. Not an overreaction because they are. They are. And they're doing a great job at wasting them, I guess. I don't know how to say that, whether that's gonna make sense. But like with Rusev, Rusev is great when he has the U.S. title, but terrible when he doesn't. And don't get me wrong, if they use that to where like the U.S. title was, kind of was his reason to wrestle, his reason to live or whatever, and they kind of capitalized on him losing it. I mean, you can book him the way they're booking him if there's a reason behind it, but there's no reason behind it. It's just like, we don't know what to do with him. Okay, bye. And Rusev comes to mind when I think about somebody like that, especially. That's kind of where I stem this one from. I feel like I feel like they've done it a lot. They've done it honestly too much. Cody Rhodes. I'm sure you can probably think of many more than I could, but I feel like this is definitely not an overreaction. Casey, WWE is wasting their top talents. Overreaction or not overreaction?
Not an overreaction, but also you have to consider, what is, WWE's top talent. If you ask WWE themselves, they're going to say, well, John Cena and Randy Orton are our top talents, and they use them a lot. There's no shortage of Cena and Orton ever. But as far as like the actual really good talent that we're talking about, yeah, they definitely, and it's in all the divisions. I mean, from Rusev to the cruiserweight division in general, they have all those guys are incredibly talented, and they could be used so much better, and they're not. The tag team divisions, they have some really good tag teams that just don't use at all or don't use right. So yeah, WWE is definitely wasting their top talents or not realizing what they have.
I actually added in an extra one. I thought of something Sarah had talked to me about. She's probably watching right now, so that's probably ironic. But I thought of something that Sarah had mentioned to me, and I wanted to turn it into an Overreaction Friday to kind of see what you would say, to see if you agree with her, if you don't. But my next one is no championships are important anymore in mainstream wrestling. I think that this is an overreaction, an extreme overreaction at that. Define no, I guess. I definitely think that there are some that aren't as important as others, or some that don't feel that important. But I definitely feel like we've seen a good share of importance from most of the titles. You've seen the world titles be when used correctly and put on the right people, be important. Even with Lesnar having the Universal title, it makes it feel more important. Anytime you put a two-sport athlete as your champion, it makes it feel more legitimate. I don't care what anybody says. Doesn't matter. He can't wrestle, and all he does is throw suplexes. Well, God forbid, that's what the freaking fans pop for, and that's why WWE does the things that they do. Because of the fans. They pop for certain things. That's why WWE keeps doing them. This is a definite overreaction. Casey.
We about to disagree again. This is not an overreaction, especially with WWE. I would say with like GFW, TNA, it's hit or miss. Some of the titles feel important, some of them kind of don't, and should. I would say Ring of Honor, definitely. I think all of those titles feel really important, and they're all really booked really well and prestigious, and so I definitely would say Ring of Honor is definitely good at that.
I got a follow-up question for you. Just go ahead and give your point. I got a follow-up question to kind of go with this. I just kind of, I mean, we have some extra time, so I want to kind of throw it out there at you. So just continue.
Yeah. And then WWE, okay. And I actually had a conversation with a guy at the gym, one of the guys that I talked to before that was going to check out the podcast. So hopefully he was able to. I get that, Lesnar is, a big moneymaker and things like that. But still, if the title is really that important, you need to have it on the show. If you don't have it on the show but a handful of times over the year, that just shows to me that you don't think that title is that important. If you thought that title was supposed to be that important, you would have a champion who is on the show every week representing that title, especially considering the fact that the Universal title is one of the newest titles to WWE, and it's supposed to be a world title. So
but we saw The Miz film a movie while he was champion. He wasn't there every week.
But he was on social media all the time. He was sending out videos. He was constant. You constantly still saw him with that title. When Lesnar's gone,
I'll give you that. But two, WWE doesn't do a great job of promoting the fact that Lesnar. I mean, because that you can make it work to where Lesnar's still on the show every other week. Not even I mean like physically at the show. You can do interviews and stuff with him. I feel like half of that's WWE's issue.
Yes, and that's why they don't feel important. WWE is making them not feel important. That's my stance on it.
Okay. I guess my follow-up question, which is not the follow-up I actually have, is take out the Universal title. Overreaction or not overreaction? Not taking. I'm saying back to the original question. The Universal title doesn't exist. No championships are important anymore in mainstream wrestling. Overreaction or not overreaction?
I would say to an extent overreaction, because as long as you have just one world title in your company, that automatically makes it feel more important. I think having multiple world titles waters it down. And I do think, as much as people hate Jinder Mahal, he has, I feel like, been as good as he can be as a champion. I mean, obviously.
Well, and too, I feel like Jinder has, like, I feel like that weight of a whole nation being on him, as far as like him and that being the whole storyline around it, makes that title feel more like a world title.
Yeah.
And my actual follow-up question is, I know you mentioned in the chat at some point, some chat we were in, you were talking about how you feel like I think WWE's titles are more important. You think Ring of Honor's titles are more important, and Rabbit thinks obviously GFW's titles are more important, like are the most prestigious, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah.
We should hit that right now since we're talking about championships and we got a little extra time anyway.
Okay.
Which one are you going with?
I'm still going Ring of Honor.
Okay, you were wrong about me, by the way. I'm going with GFW. Oh god, no. Oh god, it's GFW now. Oh god. Like, everybody knows my GFW hate. Like I think everyone knows. And we were talking just world titles, correct?
Yeah.
I think you had mentioned,
well, I was thinking championships in general because I think Ring of Honor in general, all their titles feel prestigious, important.
I could agree with that because I always felt like TNA's World Championship felt way more prestigious than anyone would ever give it credit for. Their main event picture has been solid probably since Kurt Angle first won the title.
Well, I think
back in when was that? 2008, 2009?
Yeah. Well, I think like their original title definitely felt really important. And even before that, because you have to remember when TNA first, broke ground and became a company, they had the NWA title. And then when they actually got their own championship, it definitely felt, just from the change from NWA felt important. But I think over time kind of.
Well, I think it's hard to say that over time it didn't feel as important because you still when you look back at the people who held that title, they were still really good wrestlers and really solid competitors who had pretty much really good runs. Even who you think is the worst world champion that Impact has had, TNA has had? And I'm saying TNA, GFW, whatever.
Probably Lashley.
Why would you say Lashley though?
I just don't think he's that good. I really
but see, and the thing I like about Lashley is that he's legit. I mean, he is that good. If we're gonna be honest, like
he's so boring though. I'd rather watch paint dry.
But in the ring, he's good.
He's okay.
In the ring, for his size, what he can do, he's good.
Can he do a suicide?
I know, Casey. I know it's hard on you. Lashley didn't come from the independent scene. He didn't grind his way to the WWE. I know it's hard on you.
I mean, until he can do a suicide dive like Keith Lee, then
look, I'm sure people hate me when I say that. Like I'm sure I have like this portion of the people who watch us who just hate me for saying stuff like that. Probably Sarah. Anyway,
wait, no, she hates when you say Bobby Roo.
Anyway, we're gonna move on to this was Sarah's one. This was Sarah's one. WWE's Make-A-Wish is a host. Now she didn't say this specifically, but she kind of put it this way, and I decided to make an Overreaction Friday. She was talking about basically how John Cena. What did she say exactly? She said she hates us both. But anyway, she was talking about how John Cena and his Make-A-Wish stuff really, like, he does it for publicity, and it's kind of a publicity stunt by him in WWE. And I feel like this is an overreaction. First off, that WWE's Make-A-Wish aspect of their company is a hoax. Because I gave this argument to her. I was like, I could understand that if he had granted like 3 wishes and then he was like, you know what, I'm John Cena, I'm gonna stop. But this man's granted like what? I don't even remember the number anymore. But he's granted a whole bunch. And if it was just for publicity, why does John Cena? If anyone needs publicity, it's not John Cena. Everyone knows him. If you're not a wrestling fan, you know John Cena. you're gonna know who John Cena is probably from his hefty commercial. Let's be honest. But I don't know. I just feel like I just wanted to turn this into an Overreaction Friday just to see what you would think about it, just because I thought it was kind of interesting. Because I know you've said certain stuff about Cena and his Make-A-Wish stuff and stuff like that too. So I thought it would be interesting. Plus, you hate Cena anyway. Casey, WWE's Make-A-Wish project thingy, what they do for Make-A-Wish is all a hoax.
I'm sort of, this one's tough because, like, I love Make-A-Wish. It does great things, grants wishes for kids who are really sick. So that's a good thing. I think the problem is with WWE because, okay, granted, yes, John Cena has done a lot of Make-A-Wishes and he loves doing it, which is great. I commend him for that.
Okay, hold up. You just said he loves doing it.
Okay,
so but
the problem is, again, with WWE, there's other WWE superstars who do Make-A-Wishes, but the only ones that are ever promoted are John Cena. How many times have you seen any other WWE superstar get promoted or be shown doing a Make-A-Wish? Never.
I think a lot of times too. They'll show you when you're world champion. Daniel Bryan, they showed his Make-A-Wish stuff.
Yeah, but they should, if they're gonna show all this John Cena, they should show all the other ones. Like,
well, I agree, but like I still feel like John Cena's, what was it? Was it 100 or was it 500? I think it was 500. Anyway, I feel like John Cena's 500 wish is more important than your boy Sami Zayn's one. Don't get me wrong, they're all important. But I'm not saying that none of them are more important than the other. I'm just saying a milestone like that is still big. They should still promote it.
But still, Sami Zayn then should be promoted too, because you have to think about it. That kid that, he could have cancer, whatever, any kind of disease, that his one wish was to meet Sami Zayn. That's that could be his favorite wrestler in the world. So that is important enough to him. So that should be, shown. That's my issue.
I agree with that. I feel like they should all. I don't disagree with you on that. I definitely agree that all of them should be shown. I just kind of like to argue with you because it's fun. Anyway, moving on to the weekly booking challenge, which I think I also have a hand in.
You do
hosting and stuff. The ICWP weekly booking challenge. This, as we are hitting the 42-minute mark, should be pretty good for us. 5 independent wrestlers, call them wrestlers, that should be signed to either WWE or GFW, I think, right?
We would sign.
What?
That we would sign.
That we would sign. Oh, my apologies. That we would sign.
Man, don't know nothing.
If we were head of talent relations, if we were John Laurinaitis, or whoever, I don't think he's even head of talent. Anyway, I just remember him saying that all the time. Anyway, my 5 would be Christopher Daniels, because I love this man. He like 80 years old, but he's still out there doing his thing. Well, never mind. He ain't Terry Funk. Never mind. My fault. Now, but anyway, like for real though, I think Daniels deserves it. Just in general, he might be old, but he's still doing his thing somehow, some way, and I don't know how he's doing it, but he is. Kazarian will be another one because I love them as a tag team, but too, I feel like Kazarian's one of those guys too. I feel like he doesn't always get the credit that he deserves because he's always kind of, I'm gonna say it anyway. He's always in like Christopher Daniels' shadow, unfortunately. I put the Briscoes as 1 because I'm a cheater. I really did put the Briscoes as 1 because I'm a cheater. I just think that would be a cool little dynamic to any tag team division, especially with their characters. They'd be really relatable, I feel like. Jay Lethal, because I love this man. I don't know why he bald, but he is. I love this man. Also, we missed the top 5 moment, by the way. I'll get to that here in a minute. we missed the top 5 moment. And Evilise, because I love Evilise. She's amazing. She was actually on Tough Enough, and I'm surprised that they don't sign any of the people who are on Tough Enough, because that would make sense and be logical. But God forbid. We also, and like I said, we missed one a top 5 moment I meant to add in. But anyway, Casey, go.
All right, I got my first one. I got is Ricochet. I would put him on either one, but I do think just with the stuff that he can do naturally in the ring, I think with the addition of like the performance center and all the stuff you can practice and work on there, he would get even like crazier things that he could do, which would be cool.
Not to let him do it.
Yeah, I mean, they might in NXT, but then as soon as you get to the main roster, nothing. You can't do nothing. Then we got Pentagon Jr. I'm still gonna call him Pentagon. I don't care what they say. I'm on GFW. We know how WWE books anybody who is Hispanic or wears a mask. They just try to make him the next Rey Mysterio, and it doesn't work, and then they stop.
I mean, but Rey Mysterio was the GOAT, though.
I know, but you can't.
Let's be honest, though. I mean, Rey Mysterio didn't do good lucha things. I'm just saying.
He did amazing lucha things. And then I got Marty Scurll to WWE. I would love to see him on a big stage like that. I think that'd be cool. Obviously, he's in Ring of Honor, which is big enough, but I would love to see what they would do with him.
You just wanted to bring out that Bullet Club umbrella, let's be honest. You just want that on WWE Shop.
I do. I really do. It's on our Ring of Honor's website too. But
Ring of Honor Shop? Yeah.
Yeah, that Ring of Honor shop.com or something. I don't know. Then we got Kenny Omega. I think I would sign him to WWE.
I missed one, by the way.
Oh, you did?
I'm just adding stuff in at this point.
Okay. And then Sami Callihan to GFW because WWE dropped the ball with him. I think GFW could do really good things with him and his character. So, what was the one?
Since Christopher Daniels is real old, my potential replacement, if he didn't want to go, would be Big Mike. And since Big Mike might not want to go either, Kazuchika Okada, because I love this man.
You're just picking everybody. There's supposed to be 5. Just 5.
I don't think I cheated. But real quick, my top 5 that I missed, I think we both missed, was Adam Cole's debut.
Oh yeah.
Like out of all of those things.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Week's not hype, not yet. But next week's weekly booking challenge will be 4 to 5 dream tag teams. And we ain't talk about dream team like Vince Young or nothing. Like this man ruined it forever. He ruined it forever. That Eagles team, that Poe, who was the quarterback then? Was it Nick Foles? It might have been Mike. I can't remember. Anyway, sorry, I got off on a little thing there.
Anyway, moving.
I mean, I'm just saying though, like we can't have a show without honorable mentions. It's not how it works.
No, you're right. You're right. Moving on though to next week's hype, bro. Yeah. So we both agreed on this one. Next week, what we're excited for the most is the Mae Young Classic coming up on Monday. I'm definitely pumped for it. I don't care what people say. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going in with an open mind. I'm excited for it. DJ?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to be really good. Any turn, like I said before, any tournament that we've seen on the WWE Network. So why are we expecting anything less now? Logically,
It's true.
Even though wrestling's illogical, as certain people say, that not that she's going to watch this anyway. I'm saying anyway, it's illogical.
I mean, in a way, she's not wrong. if you really think about it.
Do not let her be right.
I mean, men in their underwear pretend fighting is kind of crazy, but we love it.
I mean, that's what I do every day. Like,
Wait, you pretend to fight men in your underwear? What?
yes. Yes. You know what? I'm not even backing down from it. Nope. Every day. At least once a day. At least.
I can see you doing that. I can visualize that.
Honestly, that seems like something Justin would do. Like I don't know if you saw Justin's challenge he sent out to some guy on Snapchat,
Oh,
but I
God.
could see Justin doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, episode 3 of the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant classic. Be sure to check out episode 1 and 2 if you haven't already, because I mean I'm sure you loved this show. Shut up, Sarah! Don't laugh at me. Not that funny. Shut up. Anyway,
Bobby, woo!
anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like the Facebook page. The text isn't going fast enough for me to like read with it. So like the Facebook page, hit the subscribe button, give us a like on here, the video, and be sure to send us a comment or something about your overreactions and your thoughts on the show this week. We got so many segments that you probably won't even be able to catch up. So good luck. We'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed. Coming up very, very soon is what's next? 205 Live? I think that's next, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's next.
Yeah.
Unless we do the Mae Young Classic on Monday, but I'm not sure because we don't have anything to do on Monday, so maybe potentially could happen.
We have to figure out how we're gonna do that. If we're just gonna do all of round 1 in one episode, because apparently they're doing different episodes.
I don't know why they didn't just do it like they did with the Cruiserweight Classic and do like a 10-week thing. Just air it 10 weeks in a row.
Yeah, or like the UK tournament where they just did round 1 one night and then.
Yeah, the UK tournament was smaller though, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Should have did it like they did the Cruiserweight Classic and did it kind of 10 weeks. I mean, they could have actually started it the night it started, or not even necessarily the night it started, but maybe started the next week or something. Because I know they did it like a long time ago. I mean, they could have tried something.
They did it like
better. Yeah, and I hate when they do that because they know they can do it live. So I don't know why they don't. I mean, I get it that doing it live is more difficult. Like I understand. Like I get the struggle, but they could have did it live. WWE's like one of the biggest production companies in the world. They could have did it live. They need to chill out. Anyway, that was your Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, episode 3. If you haven't already, be sure to do all the things I told you to do earlier, right now. Do them right now. All the things you've been seeing on this screen the whole time earlier, like you've been seeing it the whole episode. If you ain't done it yet, you are the struggle. You are the definition of the struggle. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. That's the most important thing. Hit it and give us a like so we know that you like the show. Because if you don't like the show, then like you probably still like it. So give us a like anyway. We'll see you guys next time on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. The only podcast that is always, I've said it 3 times, and I mean always, and you said it with me every time, an Instant Classic.